to you by
how to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
everywhere
Bishop
you go.
to serve
MTN.
this church of God.
Tonight, Bishop Paul Semogere installed the new Archbishop of Kampala Archdiocese. Entertainment and recreation sectors resume business after 2 years of lockdown. Kakwenza Ruchira Basaiji granted bail and later rearrested. And in sports, Uganda draws lessons from Cameroon with plans to emulate.
Was brought to you by everywhere you go. MTN.
Hello there and welcome once again on Sign Language. I'll be joined shortly by Elizabeth Nakakoni and I am Rukidi Edward Kiijanangoma. Now, President Yoweri Museveni has tasked leaders to create awareness on household incomes if Uganda is to deal with poverty. The President was commissioning numerous road projects in Bunyoro. Among the roads commissioned is the 111-kilometer upgraded Hoima-Butiaba-Wanseko, as well as 235-kilometer Chigumba-Bulima-Kibgoya-Kyenjojo road. In the address, President Museveni urged the public to utilize the infrastructure so as to transform the area. The President also tasked the Prime Minister Robina Nabanja to handle the prevailing issues of land wrangles in the area. Let's have a watch.
Babaire bantegira omutego bagambire ngo enguudo zoona niza oil roads. Ogo kano omutego ogwo nikimanyisa ngu kakuba oil teruho twakora kurenya Bunyoro. Omukuru Kaseja akibarizeho katoito eze nguto ezitongozwa hati ezimu za oiro ezimu zikaba ziraira za entegeka ya government oba oiro ero oba teruho ate nguto tuzikozere za koraso nuje kurara haruguto no byamaho tuyino kutaho mwawe nyekiro ashkora taho mwawe nyekiro oboro bwatsigayo mukasheshe tuwaza kubushangayo. So mureke kugira habyatwena mukebwa ecyange buri muntu wena mushomese ecyo munju ecyo mukayo muntu mwena n'abamakiriziya n'abamakanisa n'abamuziki mushomesa abantu icyo. Then bindi, once you do that, all other things are easy. But the two approaches, if somebody has got a big land, he can do extensive agriculture. He can do tobacco, can do tea, can do sugarcane, maize, even cotton. You can do that because you will get, if you get 1 million from 1 acre per year, 100 acres, that's good money. But the ones with smaller acre, biri ebyanje mushanju omwani ebijuma ente z'amate ebyokurya enkoko z'amahuri empunu ingo kurisa ebyenyanja.
President Yoweri Museveni, who was in Hoima region, commissioning some of the roads in that area. Now, Bishop Paul Semogere has been installed as new Archbishop to head Kampala Archdiocese at Rubaga Cathedral here in Kampala. It follows the December 2021 appointment of the new Archbishop of Kampala by Pope Francis. The ceremony was presided over by the Apostolic Nuncio of Uganda, Luigi Bianco. Robert Onyango reports.
It was a moment of joy among the Catholic Christians and well-wishers from both Luweero and Kampala Diocese as Bishop Paul Semogeri headed for installation at Kampala Cathedral, Lubaga. The bishop was received at Lubaga Cathedral amidst chants and jubilations from the congregants.
Paul Semogeri, welcomed by Reverend Father Pius Mare from Kampala Archdiocese.
By 9:50 a.m., the church band with clergies accompanied Bishop Paul Semogeri in a procession into St. Agnes Cathedral, Lubaga, Kampala. The Apostolic Nuncio of Uganda, Bishop Luigi Bianco, later installed the bishop.
Has assigned you as Archbishop to serve this Church of God.
And with the love of God in my heart, I accept the pastoral care of the people of God in the Archdiocese of Kampala.
Shortly after his consecration, Archbishop Paul Semogeri delivered his maiden address.
May I, in the first place, thank the Holy Father, Pope Francis, for choosing me to be the new Archbishop of Kampala, an event we are celebrating today.
He appreciated the Kasana-Luweero community, where he had served previously as a bishop and paid tribute to his successors.
I am confident that the good work begun by Christ through our forefathers in this Archdiocese will continue to grow because I have known you as generous, determined, and hard-working family of God.
The Vice President of Uganda, retired Major Jessica Alupo, represented the President, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, at the function.
I am confident that as you step into your new role, the Almighty God will grant you the wisdom and courage to take the Archdiocese to even greater heights in the service of God and His people.
Strengthening lateral relationship between the Catholic Church and the central government was part of the President's message, who also challenged the Church to foster development.
Besides spiritual guardianship, you are also tasked with the responsibility of promoting the socio-economic transformation agenda among the faithful in your Archdiocese.
The Buganda Kingdom Premier Charles Peter Maiga hailed the occasion.
Vision is to place the kingdom at the helm of social and economic well-being of the people. And this refers to the quality of life that the ordinary person in Buganda lives, with sufficient food, with reasonable sources of income, with the ability to access health services, with the ability to take children to school, and I am sure we can realize them when we work with the church.
Also in attendance were Edward Chiwanuka II, Gilbert Bukenya, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament Anita Among, Lance Minister Judith Nabakova, Leader of Opposition in Parliament Mathias Mpuuga, NUP's Party President Robert Kyagulanyi, and other VVIPs across all the divides. The consecrated bishop was later handed a brand new Land Cruiser offered by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. It has been yet another memorable moment here at Lubaga Cathedral as the Catholic community witnessed the installation of the new Archbishop of Kampala Diocese, Paul Semogeri. This is coming in nearly after 9 months since the death and burial of the Archbishop of Kampala, Dr. Cyprian Kizito Lwanga. Lwanga was laid to rest at this same cathedral on 8th April 2021. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
To the night economy now, where entertainment, recreation sector and bars resumed business, with thousands of Ugandans flocking them after missing for 2 years. Our reporter was in Kampala City and its outskirts and filed this report.
Joy all over in various bars and entertainment places in Kampala as proprietors reopened businesses. These places have been under lock and key since 18th March 2020, when President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni announced a countrywide lockdown to curb the spread of COVID-19. The next day, nobody was allowed to leave home and all sectors of the economy were closed except essential workers. Now, a lockdown on all entertainment places has been lifted. It is 9 p.m. in the night, and for the first time since the lockdown, streets are full. Street businesses have equally resumed operations.
Kati naffe nga batuguddewo otuli beetegefu okukola buli kimu ekisoboka nga gavumenti nga bwe yagambye naffe tujja kukuuma kye yagambye.
It was an all-time crescendo in bars and entertainment centers within Kampala Business District, with limited number of people attending bars for socialization.
Kitegeeza walina okutwala wiiki nga nnamba abantu nga bagenda bakyemanyiiza.
In the outskirts of Kampala, the situation was different, with hundreds flocking bars enjoying to the fullest. Meanwhile, the curfew on borders is still on. The business proprietors attest that a limited number drive themselves to places of entertainment. Most bar owners, however, have invested heavily in renovations and are yet to recover financially.
Okusomoozebwa kwa kulongoosa renovation yetusinga okutuyingira.
Ugandans enjoying themselves there, of course, after missing on night life for 2 years. The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development has released 5.3 trillion shillings for Q3 expenditure. The amount, which is 23.4% of the approved budget, excludes state and treasury operations, external financing and local revenue.
That as we are budgeting for the next year, 2020-23, our main strategy in this ministry is to repurpose the budget of Uganda.
With the release of the Q3 funds of the approved budget, government has cumulatively disbursed 17.7 trillion shillings, equivalent to 77.7% for the financial year 2021-2022.
Whereas government has continuously released the funds in time, several ministries, agencies, and local governments have persistently delayed to submit quarterly reports. To date, for example, only 11 local governments and 81 central government votes have not submitted their first quarter performance reports, and we need them.
Overall, the cumulative release, including debt repayment, external financing and local revenue, amounts to 36.4 trillion shillings, which is 81.5% of the total budget. Unlike in the first and second quarters, the parish development model has not received any funds.
We don't want to send money to a person we don't know, and for what reason. So until these prior actions are done, this ministry will not release the money. And we are working with the government to ensure that all our colleagues, as we are coordinated by the Prime Minister, to ensure that we get all these things done quickly and we implement the parish model.
So I'm glad that you have sent a signal that resources will not be released until we have a proper implementation plan. And I wish this message could go along with all other government programs and projects which we start when we don't have implementation plans.
With the full reopening of the economy, there could be a steady economic recovery, although the public is urged to observe the standard operating procedures. Charlotte Amuge and Dennis Igoa for UBC News.
And to the courts of law now, where Buganda Road Magistrates Court has released on bail prominent novelist Kakwenza Uchirabashaija. Meanwhile, the hearing of a case where Pastor Aloysius Bujingo is seeking divorce from wife Teddy Naluswa Bujingo has flopped. We have more in this report.
A critical fiction Kakwenza Lukira Basaijas appeared before Buganda Road Magistrates Court Kampala via video conferencing from Kiijanangoma Government Prison to hear the ruling of his bail application before Chief Magistrate Douglas Singiza. Magistrate Douglas Singiza granted the accused bail of 500,000 shillings cash.
In addition to the already stated terms, will deposit in this court in the cash office his passport for a period of 6 months. Number 2, this condition may be reviewed from time to time during the hearing of the case.
Singiza released the accused on stringent bail terms, including banning him and his legal team from discussing the matter in the media.
Particularly, the accused person or the defense is advised not to discuss this matter in the media, and the breach of that condition will lead to automatic lapse of the bail terms.
Court also instructed prosecution to provide the defense with full disclosures of the case before 31st January 2022. On this court resume on 1st February 2022 for hearing. Aaron Kiza, one of the lawyers representing Kakwenza, says they are set with the hearing of the case.
But that hinges on the preparedness of the state to adduce, to disclose evidence to us so that we prepare to defend Kakwenza Basaija.
Basaija is facing charges of offensive communication when he disturbed the peace and the person of the President, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and the Commander Land Forces UPDF, using his Twitter handle Kakwenza Rukira. Meanwhile, the hearing of the case where Pastor Rosie Asibujingo is seeking divorce of his wife, Teddy Naluswa Bujingo, in High Court has flopped. This followed the absence of the trial judge, Dr. Joseph Mulangira, thus adjourning the case to 4th February 2022, when court will kick off with the hearing of the case. Deborah Namamonde, Nantongo Rebecca, UBC News.
Now, key findings by the Civil Society Budgetary Advisory Group, CSBAG, at the CSO's pre-budget dialogue meeting shows that local government financing for the forthcoming budget for fiscal year 2022-2023 has been reduced from 4.57 trillion shillings to 4.227 trillion. Now, the CSO's pre-budget dialogue meeting is an annual platform where various economic policy stakeholders in government, civil society and private sector dialogue and deliberate about key national budgetary reforms. Here is our reporter, Wadulo Arnold, with more.
At this meeting, CSOs are seeking to know from government whether the financial year 2022-23 budget will address economic recovery and inclusive growth.
Government is not up to paying everybody who owes it money, because we know that around 2 trillion is what actually is has been verified, and out of that they are likely to pay like 400 billion. If you don't pay me for what I supplied you, it's going to make me unable to pay the loans that I have.
The Finance Ministry has stated that government's key priorities for the forthcoming financial year will be revitalizing business activity, enhancing agro-industrialization, enhancing the quality and stock of good infrastructure, and enhancing human capital development, among others.
We need to do more review, better review of the budget, so that we ensure that the ministries are actually financing the priorities and not putting money in other areas which are less of a priority in nature.
Concerns of limited publicity of public economic data have been raised as it slows down the private sector growth.
Those of us in private sector are trying to do import substitution, but we do not get this information. Can I request that you make this a regular happening without us begging? Every year, please share how much we spend importing and how much we got exporting.
The budget framework for the financial year 2022-23 aims at full monetization of the economy amidst recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic shocks. Wadulo Arnold, UBC News, in Kampala.
Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development has started training trainers of trainees on the ministry's pillar in the implementation of the parish development model. The State Minister for Gender and Culture, Peace Mutuzo, opened the training in Mukono and tipped on mindset change and community mobilization.
Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development has started training trainers from all regions of the country for parish development model. State Minister for Gender and Culture, Peace Mutuzo, opened the training in Mukono, emphasizing mindset change of communities.
But before we release the money, we should do the mindset change. We should have talked to the people so that people know where to put it. Because this is not the first time we spend money in 2 villages and we don't yield much.
She empowered participants to focus on substantive farmers and effective community mobilization.
Educate the people, give them the power, the skills, and they will be able to move a milestone. And our target is, in the next 2 years, we should have reduced the subsistence farming from 38% to 15% in the first 2 years. And that I think we can achieve only with the mindset change.
She also cautioned leaders, community members and some cultures that still deny women access to development programs.
Some of these cultures are those that we are going to interrogate, discuss and come up with a solution. There are cultures which do not allow, which deny women from owning property, be it chicken. Program we are initiating is to insidiously bring these issues, the salient issues that have been bothering and burdening certain genders, excluding them from development, excluding them from decision making, to also being able to take decisions.
Jane Yuramjisha, Andrew Sebira, UBC News.
Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development has issued over 700 customary ownership land titles to landowners in Namutumba district. A State Minister for Lands and Urban Development, Pasis Namuganza, told other non-beneficiaries to respond to this program where the government is assisting people to get a land title.
As we move to mark the 36 years of NRM Liberation Day this week, Namutumba district has set an example for the entire Usoga sub-region. The first step in fighting poverty under the parish model development interventions is to register the land on which you are going to invest, so that no one disrupts or evicts you and your family from the land on which you are going to carry out wealth creation activities. Government has handed over customary titles to people, individually, clans. For example, families in Karamoja, Acholi, West Nile, Lango, Kigezi, Ankole, Winyolo, Buked, and Teso. Today, Usoga region joins others in beginning the fight against poverty and land grabbing through land registration. The certificates yielded beneficiaries, which you are going to receive today, are mandated by law to protect your land. They are recognized by all government institutions and the courts of law.
Having a title is to promote my wealth and to promote my fairness ahead. I appreciate Mrs. Namuganza, the Honorable, for that what he has done. I appreciate her, God to give her life forever and ever.
Now, Ugandans under the NRM Southern Africa have condoled with Uganda upon the loss of an economic architect in the country, Governor Emmanuel Tumusiime Mutebire. The condolence comes at a time Uganda celebrates 36 years of liberation. The patron of the body, Philip Kakuru, on behalf of all NRM strongholds in the diaspora, congratulates President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni for peacefully leading the country. We have more in this report.
morning, Uganda's economic architect, Professor Emmanuel Mutebile, lost the battle of life to a long illness at Nairobi Hospital in Kenya. Mutebile died at the age of 72, just a few days shy to his 73rd birthday. He was born on January 26, 1949.
To one of our great architects of our revived economy since 1986, Professor Emmanuel Mutebile, the governor of our bank.
Tribute of tributes continue to stream in both oral and verbatim on different social media platforms about a man who served in the position of the exchequer of Uganda's central bank for 20 years. The latest group of people to condole with the bereaved family are Ugandans living in South Africa. Under their umbrella organization, NRM South African chapter, Stand with the Bereaved Family, Philip Kakuru is the umbrella patron. This message comes at a time the country is celebrating 36 years of liberation, to which Kakuru is thankful to Ugandans for embracing peace.
I will live by congratulating His Excellency the President, comrades of the NRA and the NRM fraternity for the great work that we've done. May you continue to deliver Ugandans to middle income.
To consolidate such achievements, Kakuru urges NRM supporters to continue spreading the gospel of peace. On Wednesday, 26 January 2022, Uganda will mark 36 years of liberation since the NRM government took over power. Story compiled by Wycliffe Mudachi for UBC News.
Now, studies at Mother Gives Nursery and Primary School in Kasese District were temporarily halted after 2 pupils were struck and killed by lightning. The incident happened in Charumba Sub-County, Kasese District.
Parents heard about the incident. They rushed to the school to ascertain the safety of their children. One of the pupils, called Mbambu, died instantly, while Muhindo died on the way to the nearest health facility in Charumba Town Council. The head teacher, Margaret Twikirize, said it rained for a whole hour and lightning accompanied by thunder struck 7 people, including 2 teachers. She added that the incident occurred when learners were getting prepared to be served with their lunch.
Now news just in. The body of the governor of Bank of Uganda, Professor Emmanuel Mutebile, arrived at Entebbe International Airport at 7:30 p.m. aboard Kenya Airways. The body was received by Minister for Information and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, on behalf of government. The widow, Betty Chacho Mutebile, and other relatives accompanied the body. At Entebbe International Airport, relatives and friends appeared to receive their beloved one amidst tears. Other dignitaries at Entebbe International Airport to receive the body included former Prime Minister Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda, Deputy Executive Director in charge of bank supervision at Bank of Uganda, Tumwine Boyne Twina Manzi, Jacqueline Mbabazi, and officials from Bank of Uganda. Professor Emmanuel Mutebile died on Sunday in Nairobi Hospital, where he had been admitted.
Who has just landed from Nairobi, where he passed on. We would like to thank God for the life of Professor Emmanuel Mutebile, who has served his country and served humanity very well and successfully. We would like to convey words of comfort, words of condolences to the wife, Betty, and the family, the friends, members of the government, the Bank of Uganda, and Ugandans. We have lost a distinguished son of this country, a distinguished Munyachigezi, and we pray that the good Lord receives him and gives him eternal rest and continues to strengthen and comfort the family and all of us that have lost a great friend and a great brother. We shall shortly be announcing the official program, but we shall be laying him to rest on Sunday in Kavale, but we shall release the formal program from today up to Sunday. So thank you very much for turning up to receive our brother, and thank you, members of the media, for coming to receive our brother, Professor Emmanuel Mutebile. Thank you very much.
It is 35 minutes after 9 in the studios of UBC TV. We're now going to be taking a very short break, but when we come back, we shall be joined by the ICT and National Guidance Minister, Honorable Chris Baryomunsi, and we shall be looking at the 36th NRM anniversary. Stay tuned.
Pay school fees conveniently using MTN Momo. Dial *165 *80#. Enter the student code provided by the school. It will show you the student name and the class plus outstanding balance. Enter the amount you want to pay. Enter PIN. You will get a notification confirming payment. It's simple, secure, and convenient.
Everywhere you go, MTN. Raising voices.
Like other fathers across Uganda, I'm standing up to say no to violence against children. I commit to give my children a violence-free childhood. As fathers, we can make Uganda safer for our children. I promise to speak out when I see violence.
In this time of COVID, what is your promise to the children of Uganda? Because a violence-free childhood is everyone's right. Raising voices.
Enjoy convenience today with Airtel Money School Pay. Dial *185#. Select option 6, school fees. Select option 2, school pay. Select option 1, pay fees. Enter student number. Enter the amount. Enter the PIN number to complete payment. Beat the back-to-school hustle today. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
All eyes are on Africa. All eyes are on Cameroon. All eyes are on UBC. The drama, the heartbreak, the suspense, tears, joy and celebrations in the biggest sporting event on the continent. In one place, UBC. Call your public broadcaster today and grow your business with us. 0752 265 827 and 0776 611 540. UBC. Inspiring Uganda.
Welcome back from that break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. My name is Rukidi Edward Kiijanangoma, and before that break we had told you that we would be welcoming the Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Honorable Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, and we are looking at the 36th NRM anniversary. But before that, of course, we'll be looking also from him to give us an update in as far as the burial arrangements of the fallen governor of the Bank of Uganda, the late Tumusiime Mutebile, is concerned, because he was at Entebbe International Airport to receive the body. Honorable Minister, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Rukidi, and good evening, viewers. Happy to be here at UBC.
Of course, a very, very sad moment in the country, in the history of this country. Of course, we're talking about the demise of the former governor of Bank of Uganda, and that is the late Tumusiime Mutebile. You were at the airport to receive the body. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I'm just coming from the airport. It's very unfortunate that we lost Professor Emmanuel Tumusiime Mutebile, but he has been unaware for the last 5 or 10 years. He has been in and out of hospital, but unfortunately he passed on in Nairobi, and his body has just landed. It has just been taken to the funeral home. Tomorrow we shall be issuing the official funeral arrangements. But basically the tentative program looks like tomorrow there shall be a vigil at his home in Kororo. And then on Thursday at 10 a.m. in the morning, we shall have a parliamentary session where we shall pay tribute to the late governor. And on Friday, we shall have prayers in Kororo. We chose Kororo because of the SOPs. It is spacious and we can have social and physical distancing. And on Saturday, his body will be flown to Kabale, and then we shall have a church service in Kabale on Sunday in the morning, starting at 10, and then in the afternoon we shall lay him to rest. So burial will be on Sunday, Sunday 31st.
On Sunday, not Monday, because some news
initially we had communicated Monday, but we have since made adjustments, and the final decision is Sunday. But we shall release the official statement tomorrow, but tentatively, that's how it looks like.
Okay.
Yes, so burial will be on Sunday in Kabale. His home is in Kabale municipality, within town.
It's very sad that the country has lost an iconic person in as far as macroeconomics is concerned, and he did a lot for this country in as far as stabilizing the economy is concerned, and of course tributes coming in, people eulogizing him. This is a man who has actually done a lot for the country. And people are actually wondering, shall we get a person who will really replace this person and do what he was doing?
You're right. This was one of the experts, distinguished economist that we had in the country, and he has been at the center of managing the economy of this country. And but it reminds us that all of us, however good, however well-learned we are, time comes and we move. So we shall try to get another person, but his shoes are too large.
Too large.
Yeah, for someone to fill them. We convey our condolences to the widow, Betty, and the family, and the wider family of the Mutevires, and all Ugandans, because this is a distinguished son of Uganda who is mourned by many within the country, but also outside the country. So we pray that he rests in peace.
Now, of course, and we do, of course, that is our wish that the Almighty God receives him and may his soul rest in eternal bliss. Now, Honorable Minister, aside from that, tomorrow we celebrate the 36th NRM anniversary, and so many people are waiting to, to see what the country has, achieved during these 36 years. So tell us about this program.
Yes, 36 years of NRM. For us who subscribe to NRM, we move with our heads high. We feel very proud that NRM has been in charge of this country, and there are fruits, visible fruits for everybody to see. You see, to assess the performance of NRM, we have to look at the time when NRM took over leadership of this country. This was 24 years after independence, having attained independence in 1962 and having gone through times of upheavals from 62 to 86. In 24 years, we had over 8 presidents, and yet we had elections only twice, in 1962 and 1980, and the 80 elections were disputed. And therefore there was no democracy, no human rights, nothing. And actually by the time NRM came to take over the reins of power, Uganda had collapsed. The economy was on its knees. And the NRM under President Yoweri Museveni had to resuscitate, if I can use the word, because Uganda was like a patient who was in coma and surviving on oxygen. So the earlier years of NRM was to resuscitate, like you find somebody who is breathing, who is in a coma, you try to pump life into that person to regain stability, and then you treat the person. So the 36 years, Uganda has come from far. The ideology of NRM is hinged on 4 pillars. If we want to assess NRM, we can quickly look at the 4 pillars. The first pillar is patriotism. Because you recall, before NRM came, there was sectarianism in terms of religion. We had political parties built upon faith, religious faith, DP for Catholics, UPC for Anglicans. In an area like Chigezu, where I come from, Catholics and Anglicans could not eat together, could not sit like the way we are seated too, because of the bad politics. Even tribalism, the North versus the South.
Yes.
Kabaka Yeka, Buganda versus the rest. NRM has tried to create unity in this country. I'm sure you know. Now, people are not divided along with issues of religion or tribal ethnic background. NRM has forged unity, so we can give it a plus on patriotism. The other pillar is Pan-Africanism. NRM believes that we, the black race, we the Africans, we are brothers and sisters. And that explains why you see UPDF going to Somalia, UPDF going to South Sudan, UPDF going to Congo, because many people ask, why does the president send the army to Somalia? Pan-Africanism is one of the key pillars of the NRM ideology, that we should not behave and live selfishly. If people in Somalia are dying, if people in Sudan are dying, these are our brothers and sisters, and we should be able to help and give a helping hand. The way Tanzania assisted us to liberate Uganda when Amin was in charge. So you can also assess us on that credential of Pan-Africanism, how we have fared. Number 3 is democracy. I have just told you that in the 24 years after independence, we had elections only twice. But we changed the presidents the way we change our shirts. And the changing of presidents frequently did not provide a solution to Uganda, because we don't even know who was putting those presidents in the seat. You'll just see on radio, this president has been sworn in. After a few days, he has been removed, replaced by another, and so forth. At least you can credit the NRM that we have established a constitutional and democratic order in the country. We have a constitution which guarantees freedom in the sense that Ugandans are the constitution states, that power belongs to the people. Ugandans have the power to elect leaders whom they want. That's why every 5 years
we have got elections.
From the level of the president up to the LOCs. It is Ugandans who decide whether as a president. You can't be a president of this country unless Ugandans have given you a vote. And if you lose, you can mobilize in 5 years and come again after 5 years. If you lose, you can come again. You can see how members of parliament lose. The people you enter the parliament with, most of them have since ceased being members of parliament. Why? Because we are evaluated by the population. Every 5 years, they cast their vote and choose the member of parliament they want. The same with LC5 chairpersons, councillors. So we can say on the democratic front, we have stabilized the country, given the power to the people, and they exercise it through regular, free and fair elections, and I'm sure every Ugandan sees that. Of course, those who lose elections will say there's no fairness, no democracy, and so forth. But democracy means we subject ourselves to Ugandans, and Ugandans choose who should lead them. That's the third pillar. The fourth is socio-economic transformation. Those are the 4 pillars. So I said patriotism, Pan-Africanism, democracy, and then socio-economic transformation. Socio-economic transformation refers to improving the quality of life of Ugandans. And we can talk about that until cows come home.
And of course that one, I think it's a wide subject.
So you can assess us in terms of, say, service delivery. The roads which have been constructed and tarmacked, very many. Education, access to education. We have introduced universal primary education, universal secondary education, the loan schemes at universities and colleges. That has enabled greater access Actually, the challenge now that we have in the country that
we have so many land
we
people.
have so many land people. We are
the jobs are still
tackling the issue of job creation and employment, but our young people are accessing education. When NRM came, for instance, we had on Makerere University. Now we boast of over 50 universities, both public and private universities. At least you do not have to move from Kabale to come to Makerere. There is a university or universities in the Kabale. The same with the Guru, the same with the West Nile, the same with Mbale. University education has been liberalized and universities are everywhere. You can look at electricity. When we were young, we just used to hear of electricity. But now, deep down in the villages, people are watching us. I can tell you, I come from a very deep rural area in Kanungu, a place called Kayungwe, Bwebale. They are watching me now on UBC, a thing which was never there before NRM. Because, you know, we had the UTV, which became UBC, and then Radio Uganda. But the signal was weak. But now, the radios, which we have over 300 radios, the TVs, over 40 TV stations in the country. Exactly. So the communication and information and the airwaves have been liberalized. So there has been socio-economic transformation in many ways. And we have indicators which we use to measure whether the quality of life has improved. If you look at areas like life expectancy, mortality rates, proportion of Ugandans who live under the poverty line, all those have greatly improved. The health indicators have greatly improved. Therefore, when we say we want to celebrate 36 years, we have reason and cause for us to celebrate, because NRM has registered very considerable progress in terms of taking a step ahead as a country. Exactly.
Minister, we do not, time is not our best ally, but in the next probably 3 minutes, yes. Today the president was, of course, in Hoima opening, commissioning new roads, and you talked about it. And one of the things that we should understand as Ugandans, as long as we've got good roads and roads also going to villages, because this is where the agricultural produce is got. That means Ugandans will feed themselves, but also this agricultural produce will also be exported to other countries. So just in 3 minutes, your take on that.
One of the areas of success, like I've said, is the construction and extension of the road network. One time I moved across the country when I was campaigning to become a vice chairman of NRM. I began my journey from here in Kampala to Mbarara, through Kamwenge, Fort Poto. I reached Western Nile, I went to Guru, Lira, and I went to Karamoja, through Eastern Uganda, Jinja, back on Chorus, on Tamak Road, which was never the case. These days, people from Kabale, people from Rukunjiri, they bring their produce to Kampala and get back within the same day. So this has helped. So the roads help on ensuring that the products from the countryside can reach Kampala, but also traders and business persons, investors can also go deep up country. Of course, if you have patients, they can easily be transferred and referred to the bigger hospitals. And this has resulted in economic transformation in the villages. If you want to measure signs of progress, you just go to village functions and you see how many vehicles are parked, how many motorcycles are parked, or look at the nature of housing in the rural areas. When I was growing up in my community, the majority of the houses were grass thatched. But in my constituency, you can hardly find anybody living in a grass thatched house. And this has happened in this period of NRM leadership. So if we had time, I will tell you the very many achievements, and therefore, going forward, we are now going to focus on household income, creating wealth in our homes, because despite those many achievements, the greatest challenge that we still face in this country is having the majority of Ugandans in the money economy. We still have a big number who are in subsistence livelihood, subsistence existence, and we want to lift all those into the money economy. And that's why we are planning programs like Parish development model to take resources and the government interventions to the parish in order to economically liberate the ordinary person in this country. That is the next war which we are now engaging in.
And I know as NRM you will definitely win it. And Honorable Minister, I'm afraid we don't have enough time here because Ugandans are waiting for the next game of the Africa Cup of Nations.
Yes.
And that is Malawi versus Morocco. Very, very interesting game. But Minister, thank you so much for having come. Definitely, there's a lot that we could have talked about.
Tomorrow we shall be in Kororo. But we are having a scientific celebration. We have invited about 500 guests, but in the districts you should organize and see how you can celebrate NRM either tomorrow or any other day which is very convenient for you people in the districts.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. And via that was the Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Honorable Dr. Chris Baryomusi, and we've been talking about the 36th NRM anniversary that will be celebrated tomorrow. So those who have been invited, Kololo is the venue for the event tomorrow, and we do hope that you'll enjoy your day. But from us in the newsroom desk, and we wish you all the best and enjoy the game that's coming next year on UBC TV. Good night.
Thank you.
Flutterwave, partner of this broadcast of the Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations Cameroon 2021.